And then come on, you be dino. It's all about the cost of my gun and no so but it's depends why you see customer could do no they are not to charge and full be and will to me because we are so asking several questions na you be say beside when I was a bit me and new year a woman. But question ba kwa now questions me nu and a Ghana for the donor ebisa. How did we get here? Another question a Ghana for bisa say. Bosiane aboni nyina no ye this can ye day. And what I want us to look at the first question. How did we get here? And himfa in your fire, you bedru hasi pempezwa yetimi edru. Na hemfoni wa efepa. Amampeni Nanado. Dr. Muhammad Bawumia, the Vice President, Head of Economic Management Team. Kenneth Kuntun Kunuku Oforiata, Minister for Finance and Economic Planning. Sampling for me and saying. So the question is, how did we get here? At the end of the Ghana, I be do some pempenswa, yedria, and penibus say, a dear nesu was such a jamasia, and now matumpa anne. Na pempenswa yedruno. Ghana as of mine, since independence, I might be a my bit me a financial freedom. Nemum, a bit dear bar, said the economy city and in my wittical so we pencil and a kakra, we was the name your cry. But the truth of the matter is say, Pempenswa yedruno omo many a feedi a free braga na nya fa hode free kwesi broni fita nsem no they said this is the worst moment of our economy achese ye nwura bi mu sei da achese Ghana ye dika to the extent say ye kakra yentumi ntua ehun si ho po yentumi ntua to the first time to the extent that the first time in the history of Ghana ye nananom mrafo ne kwakrafo mo kwa ahomegiem a obi kwa ahomegiem a sebi yo nananom free school ba no adwo no odi o magro no ene emerwafo ne kwakrafo so omotena fie ju omonananom agro no atie simontin a omoye oye kire ni nyina eye pempenso aga na sikasem edi abedru. So the question we ask ourselves is, how did we get here? Edie na edi abedru hase abambia ni won ma waba wanyanafo abambia ba o the problem of facing omampena da akofo ba o face problems omampena da akofo ba sabre na petrol ho oden pa omampena da akofo ba sabre na ka wo ho omampeni bo shahodo o short transi hu so okay bo o se me patch o se me tutu sei obia meti e Rollins so inherit e Atamas inherit e Mills inherit e Ronaldo so inherit e but enne enniama hodo dia bedu ha ne de do so pa but me be yi ba ku mienu miensa bia sa problem ni nye problem a obi ne create di ma ban na mom na nado dan kwakufu ado na create di aman ho benisi konto anepe ana homa eso ne kon a day na make us about the time when we a presentation no maybe you understand with me when me you agree with me ebi so na me nya adwen ni nyina yeka bi ma me nka bi. So how did we get here? First, Nanado dan kwakufu ado eba abemu no sabre na Mahama ye free IMF mu enti Mahama government Mahama ba 2012 no 2013 na ban of already size no enti me can say the government expenditure any government appointees na there to me reduce no. Many Ghanaians were hoping that Nanado will take you over and Nanado will do even more by reducing the size of his government in order to cut down a government expenditure. But the first mistake Nanado Akufo-Addo na by year and say Nanado emum sa create more ministries, appointing more ministers. But in the history of Ghana, this kind of ministries, any secretariat near who be that Nanado Akufo-Addo pencil pay any to me who be Ministry of Aviation under John Dramani Mahama na aviation railway any transport ni nyina she Ministry of Transportation ase a chese na emabesia mienu na ejuma ho Joyce Mutari Bawa as a deputy and Mame Jifa Ativo as a minister. Nanado bai obechemu miensa enti nya Ministry of Aviation for the first time in the history of Ghana. Yebenya Ministry of Sanitation. Ne nim say sanitation there local assemblies na say local government or more na sanitations na show monsa any district assemblies no more na handle. Nanado bai no be creating Ministry of Sanitation. Akache so give you me can say priority to a sanitation situation to the sense of promising Ghana for the cleanest city in the entire Accra and cleanest or promising Accra the cleanest city in the entire Africa and continent. Omampeni Nanado sabe creating Ministry of Railway. Na any hoda Omampeni a betwa mu nyina no na ye wo Ministry of Transport a mu and a railway near aviation in Ashe. Nana Oban will be creating Ministry of Railway with the minister and deputies and the secretariat. Ministry of Procurement. Yeti Ghana nyina so mampeni ku 4 pence to somewhere 2007 or create a year procurement authority the buy no yenim se ekoto aban niam bia every government sushi bia na your procurement department omo ho no now there's no need for us to create a year procurement ministry but na nada Akufo-Addo buy no o create a ministry called procurement ministry Saraju Asafo and na minister elho Zongo and inner city ministry. And also so yenim se Ghana ha say ye wonzongu ahodo nyina but say aban bi yi select say o mi hiankro mi team ministry bi no mo do mo hwe sa ankrofo na bi nsida na Nana Akufo-Addo created this ministry and until said this ministry be collapse no Ghana for ye hu ba bi asa ministry no mo office wa maybe you can visit them and na bibisa so Nana created this ministry na any other regional reorganization. Nana Akufo-Addo buy so be create additional 6 regions. Na nkenim say regional reorganization as ye create 6 regions a local government. Local government no be hwe say betimi achichim because ye Ghana ha ye create district and as ye create a constituency ahodo either electoral commission through local government through the electoral commission through parliament ni create. But Nana created a separate ministry called regional reorganization. Now the funny thing is that this ministry ye create no and it's 6 regions in creating. Government spending 1 billion Ghana cedis and we creating 6 additional regions. We are 20 million MR6 region be as seed money. And to 6 regions in creating seed money about them money 120 million. But the government of Ghana spent 1 billion Ghana cedis. Bigger than the amount of the ministry no say yemfanye mpuntujuma ewo. National security. Yeti Ghana ha yewo national security secretariat, yewo migration, yewo customs, yewo police, yewo military, yewo munyina, yewo defense ministry and yewo interior ministry. Yewo national security coordinator munyina ekabom yedjuma. Nana Akufo-Addo is the first government first president in this country. I'll create a whole ministry called National Security Ministry. And the funny thing is that for the past 6 years, I headed this ministry of national security. We haven't seen anything different about the kind of security when it's about robbery and the cost on the ancient then whom be built from Kubia, a bit me justify because creation of this ministry was a value for money. We haven't seen anything exceptional via Ekoso or Honum. Afe Nana Akufo-Addo secretary another ministry parliamentary affair. Nanke him say abaya wo abayamono amanyuko wa abayamono edom kese ba no dani oko cabinet but Nana Akufo-Addo officially created a whole ministry edema yera or chairman sabosu. So chairman sabosu enye mini or nye just majority leader is also minister of parliamentary affairs. Say and also yede no ho special initiative. Then say abambia bano kreti Mahama kaso besi 200 secondary schools within 4 years no. The Mahama AC no Mahama didn't create any additional secretariat and I say additional ministry or any office for that. So school dan no musie ni nyina and the contract was awarded through the Ministry of Education and Ghana Education Service. Omwa na hwe etimi ye bibia all the projects ahodo Mahama kaso see hospitals and chief compounds ahodo no. We didn't create any secretariat bia for that. The mother ministries no supervising nyina but Nana Akufo-Addo 1 district 1 factory 1 village 1 dam 1 this 1 that nyina no he created a separate ministry called Ministry of Special Initiative so omo na nhwe emfanya adwuma and one of him say 1 district 1 factory nke trade ministry no we created yekoyi free ho to create additional ministry with the minister and the secretariat and yetu omo eka nyina I just want to tell you how baby edi ababedu has say how we got here. Ekwan fa so ababedu mpempenso na yesi kasem emrewafo eti etua free SHS secretary free senior high school and him say it's under Ministry of Education and Ghana Education Service and now there's no need for government to create any secretariat but in this case Nana Akufo-Addo government created a separate secretariat and to oba free SHS free SHS no secretariat wo ho ansa na Ghana Education Service secretariat wo na Ministry of Education secretary wo honom awon krofo ani asafo mu ayetu omoka ministry secondary school this is not the first time ayenya secondary school has been existent from time memorial and Ghana Education Service and Ministry of Education could have handled free SHS but he created a separate a secretariat at the moment. Ninano and Crofire form we moka every day. Mino say this secretariat still exists. We are paying people electricity, in Crofo bonuses and salaries in Yakaka. Yetia NAPCO secretariat. NAPCO Nina, the NAPCO A and Crofo Mary Square by so Momo Majuma. Already, your National Youth Employment Agency and Tinka NAPCO Fole and the National Youth Employment Agency. But Nana Danko Kufuado created another secretariat, separate secretariat for NAPCO. I'll call a cantonment or office on as we speak. NAPCO egu since last year. NAPCO na ade abaya dissolving any hobium, but the secretariat still exists. Because almost somebody bibia ebohon. We created it as something that could have been managed by either Ministry of Employment and now say Ghana Youth Employment Agency. No, we created it. Ninina eyesika yetumi ede koho. Nyama hodwa edi abidu sampempenso a edi edwe. Coastal Development Authority. Now the case I'll check Ghana mumiensa apart from say what district assembly say this Quebec one district one constituency $1 million non kronebenya no. Abansa ko create another authority Coastal Development Authority. Yes, Ghana has say nkruwa hodwa ne mantama hodwa wa mponano no. Obana bebe say mpuntu juma hodu betimi akoso ewo. But as we speak, we are yet to see any significant improvement yetimi coastal area. Oko Keta baby abanka so besi Keta port. Nothing is happening. Oko Cape Coast by Mampenika so basically nothing is happening. Oko Jamestown, a fish harbor, nothing is happening. There is no single harbor yet to me see under a Coastal Development Authority. Bet me di one dance ya be 6 years in and I buy created the secretariat. Your Middle Belt Development Authority, just a Ghana in Finfi or more machine Finfi is Ashanti regions in Abraham half almost so there as we speak. We are yet to see any significant improvement and as achievement to be a bit me I say is through the creation of a Middle Belt Development Authority. We are here to see it. Meanwhile, your fan Crawford, yet you moka, and also so Northern Development Authority. Mino Kazekra or Modie, a dear special prosecutor Domakudina Kotabo Mukwedu Fragadam. Contract worth 5 million, or mutimi, inflating it over 10 million actually. Omonia bibia more mass, no must say to a mobile minor chrono. Sebi, yes, to say, and I bomukwedu, I know you have two Northern Development Authorities. They have done nothing, mechanics, especially between Miakas and Northern Development Authority. No, through the creation of this a year authority. No, Yatimi Puntu Jumebi, accord a year the 5 Northern Register, Etimia Sacrum, nothing. The BNY Etimia happened, but we're still holding on to all this secretariat and this ministry. And here one. So if you want to know why we are where we are today, I had Ghana and watch here we cannot even borrow. Just very soon a bank this is one. The creation, the additional creation of ministries and secretariat. You bet me say necessary. But Nana Kufuor created it when Ghana for Kai and also he was in a hurry to face Ghana's problem and we created this problem. We created all these ministries. Ghana for most of the civil society group, so creating more ministries. It means the government is very serious about as to say all the creation of all these ministries and a year secretary, which is 15. I'll be able to list 15, and I'm very sure. Let me take it time back and get more than 15. You and I can tell. Another issue, Oko government communication. Under John Dramani Mahama, bro, I'm a phone and MMY in the say Ministry of Communication and Information or these ministries managed by Dr. Omane Buama with 3 deputies. Nipa 4 and manage these 2 ministries. Now no ban was abeche mu ne call back. Then oko see a Minister of Information who minister and 3 deputies 4. Oko a year in communication who minister and 2 deputies 3. To kabomu 7 ministers. But Mahama managed these 2 ministries with a year 4 ministers. And now we are managing this same ministry with 7 a year ministry additional of 3. Ghana is here actually. Now oko Omudin kita homa by a band government communication. These are the people we are paying them with taxpayers' money. Most of these portfolios were not in existence until Sanana Kufuor buying. And you are creating what does it making sense? And I said doesn't make sense. Let me take you through. Your Minister of Information, one abu kojo upon kroma, one a year 3 deputies, our more our honor to 4 or more managing government communication. Your Minister of State in charge of information, who come and penatna, your swap for horns of Kitawudi and some sort. Communication specialist in Kitawudi come and penatna atnaya, and also you will be our communication specialist. Your Director of Communication, our man penatna. ɛyɛ Eugene Director of Communication ono so ho your Deputy Director of Communication o mampeni atena ho nom na your na bedi akire Eugene so your na bedi akire your Technical Communication Assistant and so we are paying them with taxpayers' money. Your media aid, almost so the almost once and anything media is about communication. Almost so your media liaison officers, Oko Mampeniatin, so first of all, Majuma portfolio creator, media liaison officers. No communication consultant your consultant or mampenia bemwa almost banning kita hodia consult or mo eje and consultation kwa eje de be betumi akire your presidential advisor on media you will be to mampeni for a banning central ho and your presidential advisor on media and also we are paying these people your spokesperson for infrastructure after all the creation of Kojo upon Kroma ni deputies ni all this no ni nyina chini your spokesperson for air infrastructure ya full be a tua ne ka aban critisa portfolio ni diama no ukofa air 2018-2019 aban budget no government set aside 60 million Ghana cedis to pay air government communicators spokesperson for infrastructure nti se mpuntu da na basi kwano aban ya ye obi ayi ni se wono no eni hu nkita hu ye spokesperson for finance obi a no kasa ewesi kasa mo chem no chem ka hu bi omo ne kasa when it come to finance you spokesperson for security omo a eba no bambo nsem so a omo kasa you spokesperson for governance eba na mamonu so a ye honkrofo omo kasa after Kojo upon Kromani all this we have all these people now you were 5 spokesperson on COVID-19 by no yes I appointed 5 additional spokesperson to speak on COVID and to fa sankrofo we nyina adwuma be no purpose be no almost serve communication information. And this is how much it's costing Ghana as a country just to manage a year information. But at the end of the day, ope abanya yebetumi akase bad information pass sometimes or motimi yam from so part to communication we ntimi ankoye ebe wi aso mampeni kase wi a na ona bokojo upon Kroma na mechire na for ye more pap no ye control no damage control is this a year government. But this is how much we are spending on managing the information in government alone. Multiplicity, duplication of air duties. We are paying them with taxpayers' money. Another reason Tia Ghana e baby e wo sisi yan hwe ade bi na nada gogu fado bae also a banking sector cleaner pesticides about the financial sector face problem mahameko IMF 2014 financial sector no problem and to kwako IMF aye ono ankasa conditionalities or send ya aye debt sustainability no mahama ka kire IMF say obe resource financial banks ahodo no no amomusika no matimi enye sika timi adijuma ampa mahama support wo nyina including pharmaceutical companies and almost face a liquidity sika problem no mahama resource them with money say they be metimi accredit through that and oko baby to say tobinco pharmaceutical to me jina na so as establish another pharmaceutical company called Entrance Pharmaceuticals omo products no e don metimi atrim just what me fan crofo bibre what me maintain jobs ni nyina as a result of IMF conditionality mahama na by after senche consensus no mo create dem omo ho a omo use this little money at support and another buy or see no this local banks omo nisika omo ntimi nti omo deposit and megu government needed according to minority government needed 9 billion Ghana cedis to support these banks no omo survive it aban say no as you speak Ghana government has spent over 25 billion Ghana cedis on this financial sector cleanup. We are still paying the liability. We are still paying. But the government tell us about the liability, which is 25 billion Ghana cedis. But the assets are in banks in the collapse here, computers in a dance in cars, quantifier saying government is not telling us. The only thing government is telling us is the liability. I have spent over 25 billion Ghana cedis on this. Banks they collapse here in UT Bank, Capital Bank, Unibank, Heritage Bank, Royal Bank, Beige Capital, Beige Bank, Sovereign Bank, and African Construction Bank. We good enough. Enya no kwa oko microfinance omo ananka kane no wampeni kufuo na atamese peso no microfinance fo chesi ma me no adwade fo market momra magi loan no emu mako 25 yade collapse no na wo behwe sa microfinance we a ye collapse o munyina there's one microfinance your friend First Ghana Savings and Loans. This First Ghana Savings and Loans Udu a year before I do go house. ho enomo wo sa Thompson Road Oko he mabakosem a this microfinance yete kra ansa na Ghana enya fa hodie. And this microfinance me survive ya military coup d'etat ni sa bantu go nyina until 2017-2018 and you collapse no 23 microfinance were also shuttered you collapse ni nyina na sa 25 any banks na 8 year collapse no ubisa say how many Ghanaians na ehwere omadwuma ewo mu a ye wo data no ewa ha say according to I Watch Africa Ghana for lose some jobs because of your banking sector cleanup exercise was over 6,000 a year Ghanaians. Where direct job and indirect. Where you juma for mo de be of funny bag on say bank no kwako ye juma, company no kwako ye juma. Omono lose some jobs. Nebo mo amotonton nyama or honey indirect jobs in the ntimi quantify. So over 6,000 Ghanaians lost their jobs because of the collapse of this bank. About collapse CVA no and ne abe albatross SNA. The last time Dr. Muhammad Bawumia Kasa actually the entire Ghana sikasema say no. He made mention of financial sector cleanup exercise. And excess energy capacity any COVID in the kaka ho. Enti aban no penanka aban wo ho kwaso etimi supported these banks with just 9 billion Ghana cedis. And that's what the chomo cry. You bet me as hard there, but we collapse them and you imagine that they consolidated bank and then the card that you come there 25 billion Ghana cedis. And just a bigger than amount of your free COVID-19 mokra. Another issue. Aban by this radio station, your radio stations are now a year Juma. Aban by all of a sudden you say you're auditing radio stations. We are here over 131 radio stations were shut down. Ghana Web over 131 radio stations were shut down. Radio station here is shutting it down. All of them, for 10 krana. You can count the number of people and now most so enya omodada aduane edi ewa hase. Ba ba ni collapsing in every 2019 collapse ye no. Afiko we aban so radio stations na ansa nkono nkoye adwuma no. And most of these radio stations say saka to nkoye adwuma no. Omuntimi nyina omona so ye. Because most of them, you can only hear them play music. Empty. Some of them can't even start programming. But Abaniba be collapsed. These radio stations, 131 radio stations, and you can imagine number of people. Crofane run on advert, and Crofane do business with these radio stations. What Ghana has said, no. Abani to me collapsing na. Say you're auditing or you're auditing in a usual. Yamfa radio station beyond Kwanko Jina Abani. I'm young Monica. Say Ghana Babo Kase went to our lines and that's why flat year regulations rules. Nemum Abanwa ye ne boju no wie no was why bie kwan mu omuntumi enko. So we don't sako kan na ye den na nkrofo lu so jobs your radio station will comment me amabiem. Omo buy so kwa adampan ni nyina eka ho bi ne di Ghana abedu sam pempen so adre. Another issue aban catch say fight galamse sha se enye ne an sha se na nado amamuwe so aban bi ababia tu anamo so betimi aboa fight galamse but opa aban a wa committee taxpayers money so pa in the fight against galamse and na nado dan Kufuor and itimi a committee now we all the mechanics the biggest amount aban spending even drone crown government spend over $3 million the koto drone said be fight a year galamse asra for edo mo koy operation galam stop ne vanga no mo kaka hu nyina ye to mo nyina gum do mo koy but the end of the day no Ghana yensuo ni niama hodo e betimi dia measures ampa we are winning the fight against galamse or not ni nyina indicate say galamse fight no na say galamse menace na aye west under this administration example any Ghana Water shut down water treatment plant for Chebi Township due to galamse activities. And this was published by graphiconline.com on November 23, 2022. And Tisabrana Nanado ne aban sha se di asoja fo ye we nyina no na Chebi water treatment was ye adwuma enti abre sha se di asrafo kwa ye buru nkrofo ye ku nkrofo ye chi galam excavators ye shiketi jamfu ana nkro no ba de no we were expecting say at least be hu se brem nsuo no eni ate but it got to a point ya atecha ma fiko wi as Ghana Water Company omo treatment plan wa fi muntumi atecha nko and they have to shut it down and I'm shutting it down last year Chebi Township was flooded. And according to the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, as a result of galamsey activities, and the Chinese say galamsey activities in imi form and pin Nana Addo, one kasani krum chebi edi yem fantuhua. Galamsey activities in Chebi has been intensified as compared to the previous administration. It means you are not winning the fight against galamsey. You are not doing anything. It's getting worse. You are just wasting taxpayers' money. As we speak, we are still wasting taxpayers' money. And Crawford still are making money. Government officials, party apparatchiks, party financiers are still mining day and night. We know. Ghana minu mienu nyina yenim. Dia koso ababidu sampempeswe. Na no man penida da John Dramani Mahama. Eka sembi na oko man penida da John Dramani Mahama. Enane na nsana sema okaye oko ni Facebook wa. Do man penida da John Dramani Mahama eka yini. Wase Ebra former Chief Justice LED also called count demonstration. When I noticed we were running into economic ditch, I made several calls for a genuine dialogue and national consensus on an economic program. The arrogance and intransigence of a president and incompetence of a finance minister and economic management team have led us here. We could have forged a broad non-partisan consensus on the IMF bailout and accompanying debt restructuring program. Omanpena John Dramani Mahama nasimo akana no. Say, ebro hu se niama nkoyie no, ka kire omanpeni Nana Akufo-Addo say, ma ye nyina ye nhia na ye ntoato adwen ne ntimi tutu niama e because ikasam ne nye na tiasem omanpeni Nana Akufo-Addo. When President Mahama was making that suggestion, Kachin said, Mahama can't lecture me on economic management. He was abysmal and disastrous. Nana Akufo-Addo nu ya odema former president John Dramani Mahama ro Kachin say, "O mna no mesi go say onye ona ba be kire me." Episode be si atutu sikasem. Wo record nye abysmal and disastrous na wo de nye kra. Now yanhwe Mahama echo IMF in 2014. Now inflation was about 19.5. Nanado ene your inflation is 54.1%. Mahama echo IMF in 2014 na Ghana's public debt na enu even 120 billion at that time. And Ghana's public debt is over 600 billion Ghana cedis. Mahama approached IMF in 2014. Sabre na cedi depreciation. Ufa cedi, and now you just need like 3 Ghana cedis, 70 pesos to get $1. And nekra esi nyama tuto ye no, and we need 13 Ghana cedis to get $1. It got to a point now we have 16 Ghana cedis to get $1. Mahama echo IMF in 2015. Now Ghana's debt to GDP is 56%, and Ghana's debt to GDP, according to a World Bank, near 105%. According to Bank of Ghana, no, 93.5% of the GDP. Mahama echo IMF in 2014 no na Ghana ye credit na enya so na ye papa na yetimi ni ko eye kokoji euro bond ene nyama hodo na eka ho a chi so timi bo besia ene nanado ye ko IMF in 2022-2023 government cannot borrow ene according to Iraq and Ofuriata it will take Ghana government not less than 3 years for us to get access to Eurobond market. According to Yera Kwame Mpienim say, baby economy na kwa kodu no, it will take Ghana over 30 years for us to get to where we were in 2016. That is the state. And Nanado per your records and Mahama records no, your records can never be better than Mahama. Mahama record na nye disastrous. Said ye ne ababedu no. That is the difference. 2014 ye timi bobo siama ni ye, but we cannot borrow. Mahama echo IMF in 2014 no. Mahama de oye any conditionalize or the buy and say adwumafo aketu amintum workers in mete so afre so subsidies e down so electricity no oil so me ni nyina de afiro. Ene wan ye can say conditionalities are what they are ban say you cannot even pay your creditors. Ye call IMF in 2014 ye tua creditors ni tua ye tuaka. And now you can't pay them because there's no money. Mahama called IMF in 2014. Mahama and financial and Kwanko to a BSC Castle Ghana. Not to take about your pensioners. One financial can to a biaso. And never be able to say, about in Saturn Crofosi Castle, says, we are funding Quakrafun in a court demonstration. Yes, the government is not showing any sympathy, whatever. About the mayor and the mayor, that's the state of Manpenin and another Akufo-Addo ye womb. But the funny thing is, say, Yera Kenneth Kuntum Kununku of Riata. Ken of Riata. All these 9 banks any microfinance companies are good. No. None of the managers get opportunity to stay because they were insolvent, they were not able to pay or more kind of say depositors and now good those banks. You know. What is the difference between the state of Ghana government and our finances and these banks are collapsing? You too, you cannot pay your creditors. You too, who forcefully, who fund Crofosicasa with your debt exchange programs. But all these banks who shutting it down. No money nampo and an air can say insolvent. A bit to say a heritage bank was not insolvent. Much as a new nano, Nasem more court or the Kuku Bonum back and now collapsing. And the finance minister can offer what justification? And now also that's to hold yourself as a finance minister, lording yourself over us. Once a work collapsing for banks because the banks were insolvent. You collapse them. So why you not collapse? Why collapsing Ghana the area? Why don't you step aside? And why are you not collapsing using the same principle to collapse data bank? Because data bank too is having liquidity problem, challenge, and crowdfunding investors they can't get it. So why are you not collapsing a data bank? Because they are also unable to pay their creditors and depositors. So the simple question: how did we get here? Problems in the torso. But ne they made the mauni. And Nyama was so way. Yes, some of the reasons are Ghana be do some pempenswa yetimi edri. The second question Krofobisane say, na Bosnian a boy and a crown at the end of the year. That will be the next episode within this week, my editorial. Maybe I will tell you Nanado Nyama Hodo heritage, the economy or inherited and in pempenswa the do whether we should clap for the government or not. But the truth of the matter I say, all these challenges a woman are self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. All these challenges are now can one say me na appointment. Nobody knew be the power chow radio station. You be any problem. Ghana for banks are who do collapsing. We have another way you could have solved it, but you decided to do it your way. So we and munyamba muanka beje credit nafa and tenese chia. Nas ye chi anymore when you na ye betri. Self-inflicted, and we can say it was caused by just envy, hatred, and political witch hunting, and excuse my language, stupidity, power drunk. If you say the 2 minutes, they are maye, you winning election where the year vote difference almost 1 million, and you think that we have the majority, almost every Ghanaian on our side, and for that matter, we can do anything that we want to do. We control all the security agencies, we control everything, including vigilantes in this country. So power drunk, and the diabetes compensate to me, Edwin. If you want to know how we got here, these are some of the reasons here we are today, to the sense that pensioners is sick and they be rescue Ghana. Oman Penin Anado, a month ago, a donated 100,000. See, and some found common national cathedral, I am from National Cathedral. But the same Nanado is now the government need to take you over pensioners fund or music community and no offer now what they are saving now buying. But the president himself, Enyesika, or see Yamfankusi National Cathedral, to the sense of Crawford Ebobna. This is where we are, and we got here as a result of our incompetence, mismanagement, and stupidity. Abusia, if you're